Another day, another story. Our synagogue is burning. Rabbi Manfred Swasinski dropped the phone and ran to his place of worship. It was 2 a.m., but the sky was already bright. Welcome to the Eminent channel. As he approached the synagogue Prinzregentenstrasse in Berlin, pushing his hat down so he wouldn't be recognized, Swasinski saw flames engulfing the building. German soldiers were inside, stoking the flames with gasoline. Nearby, firefighters stood idly by, making sure the flames didn't extend to other buildings. Kristallnacht, or the Night of Broken Glass, occurred on November the 9th to the 10th, 1938, in Nazi Germany and parts of Austria. It was a series of coordinated attacks against Jews and their property, carried out by Nazi paramilitary forces and civilians. The name Kristallnacht refers to the broken glass from the windows of synagogues, Jewish-owned businesses, homes, and schools that littered the streets after the attacks. During Kristallnacht, thousands of Jewish businesses and synagogues were destroyed, and at least 91 Jews were killed. Many more were injured, and approximately 30,000 Jewish men were arrested and sent to concentration camps. The event marked a significant escalation of the Nazi regime's anti-Semitic policies, leading to widespread international condemnation. Kristallnacht is often regarded as the beginning of the Holocaust, the systematic genocide during which 6 million Jews, along with millions of others, were persecuted and killed by the Nazis. If you are looking for photos related to Kristallnacht, I recommend searching for reputable sources such as Holocaust museums, educational websites, or historical archives, where you can find images documenting this tragic event. Kristallnacht was a night Swasinski, and any Jewish person who lived through the wave of pogroms that unfolded between November 9th and 10th, 1938, would never forget. During Kristallnacht, also known as the Night of Broken Glass, anti-Semitic rioters terrorized Jews throughout Germany and its territories. They vandalized homes and businesses, attacked and harassed Jewish people, and destroyed their places of worship. Kristallnacht offered a terrifying vision of what was to come, the annihilation of 6 million European Jews. Anti-Jewish rhetoric had become common in Germany by 1938. For years, the Nazi Party had passed anti-Jewish laws that restricted Jewish life, from curtailing the number of Jewish students at universities to forcing Jews to carry ID cards and forbidding Jewish people from owning most businesses. Then, on November 7, 1938, the floodgates opened when Herschel Grinchborn, a Polish Jew, shot Ernst Womrath, a German diplomat in Paris. The Nazi Party used Womrath's death 2 days later as an excuse to fan the flames of anti-Semitism. Propaganda Minister Joseph Goebbels delivered a speech that blamed the attack on Jews and suggested the government would do nothing to prevent reprisals against German Jews. Suddenly, violence against Jews broke out all over Germany and its territories. Mobs attacked an estimated 7,500 Jewish-owned stores and businesses, breaking windows and looting. They broke into synagogues, vandalizing their interiors, smashing everything they could find, and burning more than 1,000 places of worship. The mobs attacked Jewish people, beating them and humiliating them in the streets and killing at least 96 people. And they rounded up an estimated 30,000 Jewish men, arresting them and sending most to concentration camps. Though the attacks seemed random, most were carried out by Nazi Party adherents who had been given instructions to riot as police looked the other way. The damage was devastating, but it was only the beginning. First they burned down the synagogue, recalled Dennis Erstein, who experienced Kristallnacht in Vienna when he was 14 years old. Then people were put on the street, cleaning the streets and being spit upon and hit upon and called racial slurs. I just couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand why it was done. In the aftermath, the German government blamed the Jews for the attacks against them, levied a massive fine on German Jews, and forced them to hand over insurance payouts they received for the damage. A series of strict anti-Jewish laws followed. Though Kristallnacht took place 3 years before Adolf Hitler began to implement his final solution, the murder of all of Europe's Jews, the violent rampage marked the beginning of the Holocaust. The prelude to Kristallnacht, rising anti-Semitism in Nazi Germany. In the years leading up to Kristallnacht, Nazi Germany experienced a sharp rise in anti-Semitic policies and propaganda. Adolf Hitler's regime implemented laws that restricted the rights of Jews, isolating them from society. These policies culminated in the violent events of November the 9th to the 10th, 1938. The night unfolds, coordinated attacks across Germany and Austria. On the night of November 9, 1938, and into the following day, Nazi stormtroopers, SA, and civilians carried out violent attacks against Jews and their properties. Synagogues were set on fire, leaving many in ruins. Jewish-owned businesses were vandalized and looted, and homes were destroyed. The streets were indeed covered in broken glass, symbolizing the destruction wrought upon the Jewish community. Human tragedy, the impact on Jewish lives. The human cost of Kristallnacht was devastating. Many Jews were physically harmed, and the psychological trauma reverberated for years. Families were torn apart, and the Jewish community lived in constant fear, unsure of what the future held. International response, condemnation and complicity. Kristallnacht shocked the world. While there was widespread international condemnation, it also highlighted the reluctance of some nations to accept Jewish refugees fleeing Nazi persecution. The tragic events of Kristallnacht underscored the urgency of the situation for Jews in Germany and Austria. Legacy: Kristallnacht's significance in Holocaust history. Kristallnacht is often seen as the turning point that marked the beginning of the Holocaust. It revealed the true intentions of the Nazi regime and signaled the systematic persecution of Jews that would follow, leading to the unimaginable horrors of concentration camps and extermination camps. Remembering Kristallnacht, lessons for humanity. Today, Kristallnacht serves as a solemn reminder of the consequences of unchecked hatred and prejudice. It stands as a call to action against anti-Semitism, racism, and discrimination in all its forms. Remembering Kristallnacht is vital to ensuring that the world never forgets the atrocities of the Holocaust and strives to prevent such horrors from happening again. Feel free to let me know if you need more specific information about any aspect of this topic. Resilience amidst tragedy, the tale of one Jewish family. In the midst of the chaos and violence of Kristallnacht, there are stories of remarkable resilience and courage. Let's focus on one Jewish family's experience during that fateful night. The Goldmans, a middle-class Jewish family living in a small German town, were well aware of the growing anti-Semitism. Fearing for their safety, they had made plans to leave the country, but the events of Kristallnacht accelerated their departure. As the violence erupted on November 9, 1938, the Goldman family huddled in their home, watching in horror as their synagogue was set ablaze and hearing the sounds of breaking glass from nearby businesses. Their own home was vandalized, and they knew they had to escape the immediate danger. In the darkness of that night, the Goldmans, like many other Jewish families, made a difficult decision to leave everything behind. With a few cherished possessions, some money, and their young children, they fled to a neighboring country, where they sought refuge with distant relatives. Their journey was fraught with uncertainty and danger. They faced numerous obstacles, including border crossings and the risk of being discovered by Nazi authorities. Despite these challenges, they pressed on, clinging to the hope of finding safety and a better future. The Goldman family's story is not unique, but it is a testament to the strength and determination of countless Jewish families who were forced to leave their homes in the wake of Kristallnacht. Their resilience in the face of adversity and their commitment to preserving their family's future serve as a poignant reminder of the human spirit's ability to endure even in the darkest of times. In the years that followed, the Goldman family rebuilt their lives in a new country, contributing to their host society and carrying with them the memory of the horrors of Kristallnacht as a reminder of the importance of tolerance, compassion, and unity in the face of hatred. This story highlights the personal experiences and struggles of many Jewish families during Kristallnacht, emphasizing their strength and determination to survive and build new lives in the face of overwhelming adversity. Rebuilding broken lives, the Kindertransport. Amidst the devastation of Kristallnacht, a glimmer of hope emerged for some Jewish children through a humanitarian effort known as the Kindertransport. In the wake of the violent pogrom, the international community, particularly in the United Kingdom, responded with sympathy and urgency. Non-Jewish families, religious groups, and individuals came together to help rescue Jewish children from the escalating Nazi persecution. Under the Kindertransport program, which began in late 1938 and continued until the outbreak of World War II in 1939, nearly 10,000 predominantly Jewish children were evacuated from Germany, Austria, Czechoslovakia, and Poland to the safety of the United Kingdom. These children, many of whom were orphaned or separated from their families during Kristallnacht, were given a chance to rebuild their shattered lives. The journey was heart-wrenching. Parents faced the unimaginable choice of sending their children away, hoping they would find safety, while they themselves remained in danger. Children said tearful goodbyes to their families, not knowing if they would ever be reunited. The Kindertransport became a lifeline for these young souls, offering them a chance to escape the horrors of the Nazi regime. In the United Kingdom, British families opened their homes and hearts to these children. They provided them with shelter, care, and education, offering a sense of stability amid the chaos. While the children were safe from immediate physical harm, they still carried the emotional scars of Kristallnacht and the loss of their families and homes. After the war, some of these Kindertransport survivors were reunited with their families, but tragically, many others had lost their loved ones during the Holocaust. Despite the profound challenges they faced, the Kindertransport children displayed remarkable resilience. They rebuilt their lives, contributing significantly to the countries that had offered them refuge, and preserving the memory of their families and the tragedy of Kristallnacht. The Kindertransport stands as a powerful testament to the compassion and humanity that can prevail even in the darkest times. It also serves as a reminder of the importance of providing sanctuary to those fleeing persecution and the enduring impact of small acts of kindness on the lives of the most vulnerable. Thanks for watching. Request you to subscribe the channel.